What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here, of course, with the Sunday crew. Hopefully, you guys had a great Saturday, even better Sunday. And as you guys are rolling in, make sure, of course, you hit that like button, thumbs up. Doesn't cost you nothing. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're still kind of thinking about it, go ahead and hit that subscribe. I don't know what you're waiting for because we got a lot of great stuff going on. So before we get rolling, always got to check in with my guys. Greg, how are you feeling this morning?
Feeling good. Like they say, if you're going to hang out late with the Owls at night, you better be ready to fly with the Eagles in the morning, baby.
I love it. Jeff, how are you feeling? You got you got the hoodie on? Are you in like serious mode here?
Hey, I'm good. I'm just how old you got to be to remember that saying? I ain't never heard that before, Greg.
Hey, that's when you get in the military right there. Hang out late with the Owls, you got to fly with the Eagles in the morning.
I hear you.
All right, what's up, Cuts and Rick? Everyone's starting to roll in. So it takes a little while to wake up, but you guys are going to wake up and get going. And when you're talking Cowboys and talking football, there's no end to the season. I was kind of talking about it. This is kind of like that time because I'm not a huge basketball fan. I'm not a huge baseball fan anymore. I do like March Madness, so it's hard to get into these other sports during the offseason. I think the biggest thing for me is with basketball in the regular season, in baseball, and really in the UFL, you don't have the crowd, like the intensity. You feel that in football. It's always so intense, those big games. Basketball, you really don't get that to the playoffs. And in baseball, you really don't get it to the playoff season so long. So March Madness has been kind of my, kind of getting me through the times. But definitely miss football. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys survive the offseason? Jeff, do you survive without football okay?
Yeah,
Jonesing for it.
I mean, obviously, I'm a big soccer guy, so I see that a lot, and basketball too. So tournament time is great. Even when you get to conference championships, you start to see real good ball. So I'm good for a period of time.
All right. What about you, Greg? I mean, I know you were the UFL Birmingham. I know you watched a lot of that, over the past few years. Does that hold your appetite until football? Or are you kind of like you're jonesing for some NFL in college?
Oh, I'm always jonesing for some NFL in college and looking at the reruns and the 30 for 30s. But the UFL, when Birmingham plays, does give me a little bit of a semblance of football until the game's over, because when I watch the other teams play, I'm like, man, just like we were talking earlier, the crowd ain't really there. The excitement ain't really there. So I'm like, what movie am I going to watch tonight? Because I'll be damned. Just right now, I'm walking around like a pigeon trying to find a coop.
and I don't know if you know this, Greg. You watch it. Ultra's been a little hard on you.
I'm about to say that.
And he says it's a breaking news. Greg's first pick is a Browns GM because that's what he says. He wishes you're a Browns GM. You took a punter. I don't know. He's not feeling your draft analysis and what you got going. Do you want to respond to any of that at all before we get rolled? I want to give you a chance to voice your thoughts on it.
No, because listen. Never underestimate what I'm telling you. Like I said last week, what about the Cowboys coming up with a risky situation to give up 2 first-round draft picks and get somebody nobody's talking about? Everybody laugh. Ultra, I think you heard some conversations this week about Myles Garret and risky plan the Cowboys might be able to do. Now, I wouldn't have the punter if I was the GM, but I definitely hire you as the water boy.
Yeah. Well, hey, and you kind of segue in it. And I do like it's just baseball is watching TV. I love going to games, live games. I like going.
There you go.
It's just TV stuff put me to sleep. But I used to enjoy the Sunday afternoon games, but they don't do that anymore. Everything is all on, this network, that network. They used to have the ABC or whatever it was, game of the week, and I'd always sit and watch it. But anyway, you did talk about Myles Garret. And I'm just going to say there ain't no way this is going to happen. Now, if it happens, it'd be freaky. I just don't see it happening. I think it's fun for content. I think it's fun for the media. It gives ESPN, it gives NFL Network, it gives all these guys something to talk about. But there is no way this would happen. And if it did, you would you basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, you know more about the cap stuff than I do. You're kind of like saying, all right, Pickens, we got to trade you now because Garrett holds a pretty hefty contract unless they really start doing some maneuvering with restructuring, but with the cap. But what do you think, Jeff? Any possibility? I know you can never say never, but what's your thoughts?
No. And the thing is, it wouldn't be just 2 first-round picks. It'd be 3 if you wanted to go get Myles Garret. That's the only way the Browns are going to come off a franchise player because they don't really have anything else to go off on. He's been consistently a top 3 defensive end since he's been in the league. So there's no coming up off that. So it'd be 3 first-rounders. If Dallas does that, the excitement may be great, but boy, it's going to leave the cupboard bare. So, I don't see that. And, I mean, how many players in their individual positions are we going to have that are either top 1 or top 3 in their positions? That's not a recipe for success. So yeah. I'm out on that one.
Well,
before you answer, Greg, I just want to, my man Jay Tuck, he put a tweet out, and it was one of my favorite Sports Illustrated covers. I got it in my cave. Is Deion Sanders, is this man worth? I think it was 35 or 25
million. 35 million.
And there was a time when money, you never thought about money with the Cowboys. I mean, there was no thought. You go get a guy, you get a guy. I know the cap has kind of changed that, but I mean, any fan, when you hear this, is like, I mean, I would do backflips in the street. I'd bust through my window, I'd bust through the door, whatever it is to get a guy like this. But now you got to think of the ramifications that kind of come with if you were to trade a guy, the draft capital you would give up, the cap hit that you'd end up, absorbing into that. What's your thoughts, Greg? As a fan, are you all in? But I mean, do you think this is a realistic thing that could happen?
This is something the Cowboys have done in the past. I don't know why everybody's so shocked about it. This is something the Cowboys have done in the past. Y'all brought up a good example, Deion Sanders. And listen, if you can think it, the Cowboys have already thought it. I told y'all last week, everybody laughed at it.
They all laughed.
Not be surprised if the Cowboys are thinking of an extremely risky situation to give up the 2 first-round draft picks for a big defensive player that nobody's talking about right now, that nobody thinks they can be able to get. I said, I don't know if it happened, but don't be surprised if it's not in their plans. When you put together plans, I'm going to go back to the military on this one. When you do war plans, you make war plans contingent on different scenarios out the box that nobody's thinking about, because you don't want to be caught by surprise. This is similar. The same thing. Everybody got shocked when they heard Myles Garret name came up. And don't think that the Browns wouldn't part ways with him. The Browns are rebuilding. The Browns know if they let him go, knowing where they are right now and wasting that one-man talent on defense, they'll make up for it with those draft picks. They can start over. They're not going anywhere. Browns ain't going nowhere. So it would be perfect for the Browns to give up a blockbuster. And don't put it past Jerry to do it. I can see Jerry giving up these 2 first-round picks for Myles.
You hear it, Mike?
And a first-round pick for next year, because Jerry said, I have to get off of this train of what I've been doing so common, and now I got to go do something different and go beyond all in. So don't be surprised if it happens. Everybody's, it ain't going to happen. What you're really saying is, man, I hope like hell it happens. I hope like hell it happens. So when I said a scenario like this is probably on their plan sheet, whether they execute it or not, folks, please listen to that, because last week, nobody wanted to hear it. Now look what happened and evolved. These teams are thinking on contingency plans way out the box than the average fan would think. And if you think Jerry's going to sit here and say, well, I'm not going to do the Myles Garret thing and the 2 first-round picks and possibly 1 more high pick next year because I'm going to be stuck with the money. Jerry doesn't give a damn about that. He's trying to get this Super Bowl before he croaks and goes into assisted living that I'm going to personally drive him to. So don't be shocked if it happens. But I'm not shocked that the scenario prevailed.
Well, no, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it looks like a lot of people in the chat, they don't think this is realistic. I don't know if anyone thinks it's realistically, gonna happen. It would be fun. I mean, Texas A&M, from that area, it would make for a good story. But
I like fantasy football too. It's fun.
I just don't see it could happen. And I don't know if anyone thinks it could happen. I haven't seen one person in the chat. Only one person, my KH said, "Hey, when people say we can't," I agree. I mean, you never say never. I mean, there's always opportunity. And someone put in the chat the Cowboys or the Browns. Todd Monken, he was with George Pickens in Georgia. Maybe that's included. Maybe if they did something like that, you're just not you're not going to be able to have them both. It's that old Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. What is it? Both one, or was that Bojack? One of those guys back in the day, the commercial. You're not going to be able to have you can't have everything. So you got to pick your poison of what you want, which leads me to really some of the draft stuff. And, the Cowboys, you're getting all the pro days. The Cowboys had their 30, their visits and all that kind of stuff. And now you're getting some names. And they sound good. You're getting a lot of stuff going on. The pro days are happening. Keontae Scott was the one guy that I talked about at Miami. I shared probably one of my favorite moments in Miami history. I had to go make sure I capture that. Keontae Scott. No one knew how fast he was when they saw Smith just going away and away and away and him outrunning him as he's going toward the end zone. He ended up running a 4.28. And he is a cornerback. He could be a safety. I think he started at safety when he got going with Auburn or whatever. He could be nickel. He is just that Swiss Army knife, but I think he's a playmaker. And you're seeing his name getting talked about. Now, I think he kind of maybe scooped himself into the first round after that pro day because he was kind of that mid-second round pick. And cornerbacks are a premium. You may see it. But what do you guys think of? Did anyone stand out of the pro days or the 30 the official visits that they had? I'm just going to throw names out there. The obvious ones: Sonny Styles, Delane. This was an interesting wide receiver, Amar Cooper from Indiana. Eli Stowers, tight end. I don't know what. We don't need no tight end. Keontae Scott. Obviously, Romello Height is a name that you've heard about with Texas Tech. They love Texas Tech. At their pro day, they went out to dinner with Rodriguez and with the whole crew. Then an interesting was EJ Smith. I thought that, he's not going to get drafted, but maybe the Cowboys throw a bone to Emmett's kid. But what is your thoughts, Jeff? Just kind of a 30,000 foot view, and then we'll dig a little bit, take a deeper dive into it. But what's your thoughts on kind of what you're hearing out there now?
The one that caught my attention was Jeremiah Trotter's son.
Yep, he's another one.
Josiah. Yes. Like for me, he's the one because I was thinking about, and I spoke about it last week, how many linebackers we're going to need and people that have the pedigree or come from the school that has the pedigree that can be impactful. So for me, I was looking at him. I was glad that he was on the list. That's the one I'm looking for in the later rounds to give us the flexibility to trade out, whether it's at 12 or 20, based on what's available, and be able to go back in and pick him up on a later round. So that's the one that I was happy to see was on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I agree.
Yeah, Keontae Scott really impressed me. I was already impressed with Keontae Scott. That's why I'm glad he came to Miami. But Keontae Scott is like a quiet assassin. We in Miami land, we know who he is, and we give him the respect that he deserves and recognition. A lot of other people don't really pay attention. You don't hear him talk about him that much. And he blew him away on pro day, and he let him know on pro day. You talking about speed? Talking about speed? Keontae Scott is no joke. And if he falls to us, I can see us picking him up. I can see us getting Keontae Scott. Everybody else, to me, those people, I expected them to succeed on pro day because I saw most of them in the combine and I didn't see anything lacking. And the pro day is just another way just to put a cap on what everybody saw at the combine so they can see him individually. But Arvell Reese, he will be, for me, Arvell Reese will be the steal of the draft. And I don't say steal because he's a bad player. Arvell Reese, to me, is the top defensive player in this draft
But that's not a steal because he's going to be top 5.
No, when I mean steal, when I say steal,
what do you mean by that? Because I don't want people to jump on and start bashing you, Greg.
You typically use the word steal when you say they're underrated. No, when I say steal, I mean whichever team gets them, they got them a multi-talented, decade-long defensive player, and that's why I call it a steal, because the fact that they're going to get the opportunity to draft him will be a steal. And any team that passes up on him has lost it, really lost it. And for me, I know what we need. If I'm in that top 3, I know what my team would need. But if Arvell Reese is available, I'm taking him, period. But Keontae, if he falls to us, I wouldn't have any problem with getting him. We got like 8 corners on the roster right now. We don't know how many of them are going to stay. But Keontae Scott would be perfect for us if he falls.
Yeah, I think what's intriguing with him, and Ultras has him as his 7th best cornerback. I don't know about all that, but we'll see. I love his attitude. I love he's a hitter. He has bad intentions. You ever listen to him talk? You listen to Thomas, another Miami kid like Bain, Mesidor. You listen to these guys talk. It's that old school Miami Hurricane mentality. When they're playing, they're out to hurt somebody and just bad intentions. And they made big plays in big games, and that's what it's all about. And that's what I've seen from this crop of Hurricanes. That's why we got to get some damn Hurricanes on this team. I know my man Steve, he drafted all Hurricanes. Michael Irvin retweeted it. He loved it. He said that's what we need. So I know we can't get them all, but Keontae Scott, which again, I don't think he's going to be there if they sit where they're at. I mean, 20 is probably a little premium for that unless they trade it down. 3rd round, he'll be long gone by then. So it's going to be it'll be interesting to see where he ends up, because I do think he is a playmaker. When you listen to our defensive coordinator, he talks about versatility. He talks about getting guys that can do multiple things. And it sounds like Keontae Scott would be kind of like that guy. I just don't know if he'll be there when they pick.
Y'all both sounds like some homers right now.
Yeah, I am a homer. I admit it.
Because last week, Greg said, I don't care about pro days. I don't care about none of that. We've already seen the film. We know what they do.
Well, but the film showed what he did. The problem is people underestimated. To me, it was more the speed.
Yes.
Because people didn't understand, because they see him. He's a big guy. Yep. He is a big, he's a physical.
Is he that big?
When you see him, he plays big.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, but he's not even
That's
6
a big dude. That's a big, for a cornerback, to me, he's a big dude. He's thick. He's a big dude. Mm-hmm. So that's just my opinion.
And his draft,
I think people underestimated his speed. And I think that was one of the questions that people had. But people forget him just running away from Jeremiah Smith. Wasn't even he was just getting further and further away. But that's just my opinion of him. I could be wrong, but I think people underestimate. So for a pro day for him, I think it works. A pro day for Bain, Bailey, Mendoza, anyone like these top guys, I think the pro day is a waste. But I think it's for the people that guys don't really talk about. I think it gives them an opportunity to kind of show. I don't know, Greg. What do you think? We're getting attacked.
Keontae Scott draft stock went up after that pro day. Yeah. It went up. Like I said, being a homer, of course. But I'm not going to say that just because he's a Miami Hurricane and say, oh, we need to get him. Because there's some Miami Hurricanes, if they're in the draft, I'm like, no, let's not take him. Let somebody else get him. But Keontae Scott, most definitely. And Keontae Scott's draft stock after pro day went up. And I'm sure some eyes were buckled when they saw him in pro day. And they said, wait a minute now. We know who this guy is. He's all right. But this pro day, this guy took it to a different level. So it wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he falls to us, because it's either between him or Mansour that I think the Cowboys got an opportunity to get one of those. And if somebody else goes with that LSU guy, Mansour, Kevontae could fall to us. And if he does, that's a great pick. That's a great pick.
Wait. No, at what pick are you thinking?
At 12.
Well, no. Let's.
I'm not taking Scott at 12.
No.
I'm not.
Because everybody else may be gone. Everybody else may be gone.
In the second round to get down. Yeah.
Everybody else may be gone, and we're looking for a cornerback. Him and Mansour, his draft stock went up. Mansour is a first-round draft pick for LSU.
No argument about that.
Keontae Scott is not.
Scott is the second, but the way cornerbacks sometimes run, I could see a late end of the first round. I could see.
If everybody's gone at 11, I would not put it past Jerry them to take Keontae Scott.
No, I
think that's a reach. No, that's a reach.
He's got to be the Browns GM.
I would not put it past him. I've seen strange. You guys, y'all must not be watching the draft. I've seen stranger things happen in all these years of drafts where people's heads spun about this guy. I had him set up to be a second or third round pick. How did they get him in the first round? The needs of the team when it comes to cornerbacks and who's available at 12, based on who's gone and all those other defensive players, don't put it past them.
Nah, you don't reach a corner. You can reach. I've seen teams do it all the time when it comes to quarterback.
I think Alabama's quarterback could end up.
He's going to end up in the first round.
I've seen teams.
You're not going to reach on a cornerback.
A corner.
I mean, there are. I'm not. Look, I love Keontae Scott, but I'm going to. I mean, there are better cornerbacks.
There's a lot of them in this.
I've seen teams reach for players that nobody even thought about in the first round. And every year it happens. Every season it happens. You have contingency plans, and you have to look at your contingency plans based on your needs. Do not be surprised. And put it this way, I would not be shocked. It wouldn't shock me.
No,
Greg,
I'm a guy like you. It would rip my heart out if they you cannot. You can't do it. Which leads me, I'm gonna switch gears. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. The big question that I have for you guys, let's talk legit. Let's just talk realistic of what could happen. So the draft could fall. Tate could be there at 12. And I know we talked about this last week, but if you got Ohio State's wide receiver and he falls at 12, if there ends up being a defensive run, and BPA, if you're going best player available, which I'm a fan of, I think when you like to Andrew's point, when you reach, you end up with Taco and Mozzie. So I do think they need to go BPA. If you had Tate, would you trade down, or is it just too much to pass up? Because they're talking about Pickens, and if you're not thinking long-term with Pickens, you got to have a contingency plan long-term. So,
contingency finally comes up. Contingency finally comes up.
Jeff, let's talk about that. And if that scenario were to happen, I mean, what do you do?
First, let me say this. Greg, I love you like an uncle. Boy, I tell you what. I love you like my uncle. But if that situation were to occur, personally, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Greg, cover your ears. I'm trading Pickens, and I'm taking Tate. For one simple reason. I will have Tate locked down for 5 years on a contract that's a lot more manageable than what I'm going to have to pay Pickens, which is going to be $33 million per year for at least anywhere from 3 to 5 years. So for me, being able to be perennial contenders, I would take Tate and trade Pickens.
Listen, you guys, I don't know what do y'all think about for the future of the Cowboys. 3 steps forward, you're trying to take 7 steps back. Pickens is world-class, experience, hands down. Do not trade Pickens for a rookie, even though Carnell Tate was great at Ohio State. You don't know what he's going to do in the NFL. He's not George Pickens. So you got him a longer time for a shorter contract with money. Then you're not going to succeed. You're not going anywhere. Keep Pickens. If you got an opportunity to get Tate and he's there and somebody wants to trade up for him, let them do it and take the picks. But do not, under any circumstance on this planet, even if the aliens came down today, do not take Tate and trade Pickens. That is blasphemy. Absolute
here's what I'll say.
If I'm Jeff,
you're not the Browns GM.
No,
but you sounded like the Bengals GM.
If
You're trying to pay everyone top dollar, especially all these wide receivers. You ain't got no money left over for the rest of the team.
You got them on the franchise tag.
I know, but listen to this. Listen, Greg. We have him on the franchise tag, and it's good. His agent, he like it's like somebody. He went to that agent not to get $30 million, because I think any of us probably could have been his agent, get 30. He's looking at bigger money. And the Cowboys, if it gets to that point and they tag him and they stay on hold, all right, Pickens doesn't show up to training camp. Pickens says, I'm gonna sit out till week 8 or week 9, whatever that time period is where they got to show up or they lose that year of eligibility. You can end up hurting yourself more by not. If you have a receiver, it's the same thing they said. Did they need CeeDee Lamb at that time that he fell to it? You could have argued the Cowboys could have went another direction. Des Bryant falls to them there. I can't remember the year. I don't know if they had T.O. I'm trying to remember the time period of who they had at receiver, but he goes to them. Could they have used someone? If you have got to stay disciplined to the board. And if Tate falls, it's the same thing. I would argue Jeremiah Love, if he falls down and you can't make a trade. Now, again, I argue to say, would you trade down? And there's nothing wrong with that. You could say, hey, Jeremiah's there, Tate's there. I'm not like, it's not a high priority. There's other guys I think we can get that I'd be happy with. Let's move down and see if we can sneak back in the second round or whatever it is. I'm good with that. But I'm just saying, don't not make the pick because you're like, hey, I got George Pickens and he's great. George Pickens could get hurt, God forbid, tomorrow. Then what? I mean, that's what gets you in trouble. A lot of these teams in trouble. So just because they take Tate isn't a knock on saying, oh, well, Pickens is done, but it's a safety valve, right, Jeff? I mean, and you think Pickens is going to play on? Let me ask you this, you guys in the chat: is Pickens playing under the franchise tag? No. Happy he's going to be there all day?
Listen, Mike.
I'm going to ask you. I'm going to let you finish because I know you're passionate about it, Jeff. Is he playing under the franchise tag happy? And he's going to show up, and everything's going to be hunky dory.
Oh no, we gonna get Steelers Pickens. He's going to be showing his ass every opportunity he has, because, and honestly, rightfully so. He played, he balled out, so he wants to get paid.
Yeah,
but is it in our best interest to do that? That's why I'm saying that needs to be resolved before the draft, because the longer this carries on, the worse it's going to be for us. We said this a month ago. Keep Pickens, but you can't keep him on the franchise tag. You have to re-sign him.
You have to
if
sign
you already having those conversations and you guys are nowhere near in the ballpark, you got to go. You got to move him. I mean, why wait? That doesn't make any sense. That's bad business.
I listen, guys, I most humbly and sincerely disagree. You are trying to justify, in that long scenario, you are trying to justify every potential situation that could occur using if and how it wouldn't work, to try to justify the legitimacy of what you're saying about taking Carnell Tate and trading Pickens.
No, Greg, no, you didn't hear what we said. You didn't hear what we said. You're not listening to what we said.
Hold up. I heard both of you. Jeff, you said trading Pickens, you would trade Pickens and keep Carnell Tate. Mike, you said taking him as a safety valve and or using him as a trade to move up or down.
I don't think Pickens is going to. If Pickens is not going to play under the franchise tag,
you guys don't know that. You haven't heard anything from Pickens saying I ain't playing under no franchise tag. And
give me a player, give me a receiver that played under the franchise tag happily and showed up and was good. Give me one.
Mike,
give me one.
Listen. They haven't even gotten to the end of the part of the negotiations yet. And Pickens wants to play ball. You guys are acting like you've already talked to Pickens' agent and Pickens, and he said, I'm going to be pissed. I don't want to play on the franchise tag. Everything.
You think he's going to be happy?
Hey, let me ask you this, Greg. Let me just say, how much do you think Emmitt Smith loved football?
We're not talking about Emmett. We're not talking about Emmett.
You. And how much did you think? Do you think he wanted to sit out, but he had
to?
We're
not talking about Emmett.
These guys have egos and they want to get paid.
Yeah, but Emmett was a consummate professional. Pickens has shown that he's not.
You don't know what Pickens is. You don't know what Pickens is going to do. Pickens hasn't exerted any signs thus far that he is pissed, that he will not play, that he will sit out. He hasn't said anything. And what we're doing, coming up with scenarios to justify all of things that Pickens is going to be the same.
Okay. Hey, so
Pickens is going to be the same.
What are you going to do, Greg? You going to wait?
You've already said Pickens is going to evolve into the Pickens he was at Pittsburgh. You don't know that. You don't know that. Mm-hmm. And why? Why? Because Carnell Tate's name came up. We go out of the box. We go to crucify Pickens about what Pickens ain't going to do under the franchise tag, how he's going to be mad, Pickens ain't going to want to play. None of that has evolved to this point. With Emmett and everybody else, it was early. The signs came out early about that. And all because of what? Taking Carnell Tate and Jeff. You trading Pickens. Jerry and them want to go and win this Super Bowl. If you want to win a Super Bowl with Dallas, you do not repeat what you've done before. Get rid of these valuable players and then go get somebody else because of the money. Jerry and them need to keep Pickens off of the radar for trading. Make that deal happen by the time free agency. The time comes up where you have to make it. And if they don't, Pickens will play. He will play with the Cowboys. Him and CD are like this. He will play. He will not be mad. He'll look for that paycheck next year.
All right. Let's calm down a minute. Let's get a couple points because I see in the chat. Love the chat. The Emmitt Smith was my favorite player, so I know Emmitt Smith's situation. The example I was giving is Emmitt Smith loved football. You say George. Emmitt Smith is all about business. He didn't have a contract, but he was not settling. They offered him a contract. He wasn't settling. He'd rather sit out to prove a point. And all I'm saying with George Pickens to the other comment, and I agree, he's not going to turn down the money, but this is what they can do. And this is just being real and it's the reality that you got to know. He can sit out. And yeah, he gets fined and goes down the line. And then he can show up in week 8, week 9, whatever it is. And then it's going to take him 3 to 4 weeks to get it. And he's going to get paid. He signs the franchise. He gets paid. Now, he doesn't get the $28 million. He's going to get it, the game check. So he's still going to get more than the 3.5, but he's going to fulfill his obligation. All I'm saying is if you're going to sign him and he's going to sign a long-term deal, I'm good with it. I love Pickens. I want him. You guys you're misconstruing, I think, what Jeff is trying to say and what I'm trying to say. We love him. But if you're not going to, you saw, JSN just signed for average of $40 million a year. If you're not going to, if he's asking, and his agent, if he's asking for 38, 40 million, 37, you got to start thinking to yourself, is this going to be sustainable for the Cowboys?
Monopoly money.
And if it is,
we just pay everybody.
If it is, then it's fine. I could care less. I don't care about the money once the guys are signed. I want Pickens here. But I'm just saying is, if the Cowboys get to that point, don't pass up. If you've got Tate up on your board and you're not making a trade or whatever, do not pass him up to go get someone else because you think Pickens is going to be here. You can't run that scenario because that's what bad teams do. Bad teams reach. Dallas reached for Taco. Dallas reached for Mozzie because they tried to fill a need instead of going best player available. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not dogging Pickens. I'm not saying Dallas get rid of him. But I'm saying is you got to have it in your head. It's a business too. And if you think Pickens is going to sign the franchise tag and he's going to come here all happy and he's going to be there and he's going to show up and there's going to be no issues, you're kidding yourself because these guys want security of a long-term deal. And to you and I, $26 million, I'd sign it in a second. But JSN just signed 140 guaranteed. You don't think Pickens' agent's looking at that and looking at it and say, well, why would you sign 28, break your leg, and then you're kind of screwing yourself?
Hey, what's the expression? All about security. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Last year, they could have re-signed Pickens for probably $33 million because I would have fit him right below CD and right above DK Metcalf.
There you go.
But now you have that 40 million that JSN did.
864 Cowboys. Greg, 864 Cowboys. You don't hire Mulugeta to play on tags and sign team-friendly deals. He switched agents to him. And it's fine. I'm all for players maximizing. It has nothing to do with
1,000%.
I applaud him for doing it. So I'm saying is the Cowboys got to know that. And don't pass up a receiver because you think you're going to be able to get, Pickens long-term.
Pickens' agent, listen, Pickens' agent, there's two scenarios you guys started this whole conversation with. Yours, Jeff, dealt with trading Pickens, and I said absolutely, positively, unequivocally, no.
Wait, but did you hear? Did you hear?
No. Yours might entertain taking Tate as a safety valve or moving up in the draft or something that I can deal with. But you got to understand this. Pickens' agent is the same agent that dealt with the Parsons, Jerry Jones emotional situation.
That worked out well for us.
No, yes, but he learned something out of that. And
he got his employee paid.
Listen, he learned something out of that. When it comes to him and Jerry and Pickens this time, the emotions will be left out. There will be different conversations. Pickens, I do not believe, and we can come up with any scenario we're thinking about. The one that I'm not even going to entertain because I don't think it's going to happen, and I think if it does, it will sabotage the team, is under any circumstance Carnell Tate is available, and we don't even know that he would be there.
It's just
trade Pickens somewhere because of that deal. No, his agent is not going to make the same mistake this time on his part, and Jerry's not going to make the same mistake this time on his part because they know how extremely valuable and how critical this situation is with Pickens. And I don't think, Pickens wants to get paid and JSN set the market, but I don't think Pickens is going to want to get paid more than JSN. He wants to get paid close to JSN. And I truly believe that by the time it comes down to the deadline, they will come up with an agreement for Pickens. And if he doesn't and he stays,
how much are you going to make?
No. I'm not even going to put a number on it.
Oh, okay.
Because that's going to be because of the lessons that the agent learned, the lessons that Jerry learned.
The agent learning.
The agent got paid. He got his players paid.
The lesson they learned dealing with Jerry Jones, who he has to deal with again. You always learn a lesson in something, whether you succeed or not. And now you're dealing with the same guy again with another
agent. But the agent succeeded. His job was to get the most money.
About him getting Parsons the most money. I'm talking about the lessons he learned with dealing with Jerry Jones in another situation where he's got to deal with Jerry Jones with the same player.
Right, but you're thinking that his job is to keep the player with Dallas.
No.
Okay. What did he learn about Jerry?
Don't think for me. The lesson he learned with dealing with Jerry Jones this time, and he's got a different player, same high profile. The lesson that he learned, him and Jerry both will deal with one another differently during this situation because Jerry knows how screwed up that situation with, and that agent also realizes things maybe he could have done different. I guarantee you, the way they approach themselves this time for another high-profile player, a 1 year apart, will be totally different than how they handled Parsons. And I believe through that, that Pickens will either be signed and get what he wants, or if he's on a franchise tag, he will play. He will not get on the field and be this Pittsburgh guy y'all talked about, because I don't give any credence to Pickens' bad behavior at Pittsburgh based on Pickens. Pickens was the reason why Pittsburgh stayed in the playoffs for 2 seasons. Pittsburgh didn't know how to use Pickens. They had multiple quarterbacks, no plan. Who else wanted to get? You can put Michael Irvin. Anybody
we're going to change.
Antonio Brown.
We're going to change gears a little bit, but I just say that a player's not going to, like, Pickens not going to act. I'm just going to say act a fool.
He won't.
I don't think anyone loved Micah Parsons. I mean, the Cowboy fans love him, but don't tell me he didn't act a fool during that whole process, laying on the training table, yawning and doing the players. Like I said, they all have egos, and it's just going to be it. But I just want to run through. We got a few things in the chat that I definitely love. And, JSN has more value. I agree. Pickens also has an opportunity. Other teams have opportunities to sign Pickens. No one has. Now, I would say this. A lot of that is kind of like an owner's wink thing. I don't really buy a whole lot into that kind of stuff. So I understand other teams could do it, but they'd have to sacrifice things. I just don't, I think that's all lip service. I don't think there's any value to that. But more importantly, my man, Luis, I was there. Maybe we ran into each other. We hung out in Philadelphia. Don't ask me why I went to Philadelphia for the draft, but I did. And I was there. Jordan Lewis, if you look at it, I love Jordan Lewis. And when he got picked, I actually got on TV. I think it was ESPN. My son and I got on TV after that pick. We were celebrating and so happy about it. So you brought back a good memory there. But yeah, I loved going to the draft. That's in Pittsburgh this year. I wish I could make the trip up there. Probably should because I don't have the season ticket obligation anymore, so I probably could. But yeah, and I apologize, Cuts. Cuts said that the neighbors thought there was something going on. I don't want the police called. One time, Cuts was, I don't know if you guys know, Cuts was watching the show one time, and the police came to his house because they said the volume was too loud. And we caught it on tape. We had the altercation. We played it next week. So
invite him to the show.
Yeah, that I love good, healthy debate, but we want to be obviously. I love the passion of Cowboys fans, so it's good. So I think we understand it. I think everyone can agree. Long term, we all love Pickens. I think we'd all love to have him, but I just think that they have to, and they do. To Greg's point, I know they have to have it in the back of their mind. If this doesn't work, we need to have a plan, because what you don't want is now you fix his defense up a little bit, and now the offense is the problem because you don't have Pickens there. So I think there's got to be a balance, and hopefully the Cowboys, they could figure it out. But let's look at Greg. Jeff, you brought up a great point with some of these guys coming in, and you're looking at defense, and Trotter was the linebacker that you saw. So, looking at linebacker Rodriguez, they took him out to dinner. I think we agree, right? The problem with Rodriguez is he's not going to be there in the third round. I think he's going to be a late one or second round. I mean, you can get guys that sneak up, and I don't think the value for him is at 20. So it's a matter of trading down. But of these linebackers and where we're at with linebacker, we just signed another defensive tackle, Bullard, who's kind of a long-term. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. Who's kind of a long-term, 11-year veteran, kind of a, could be in that rotation. So the defensive line, outside of maybe getting a pass rusher, which maybe they're looking at the draft, we all feel pretty good about. Inside linebacker, that's where I think a lot of concern is with Cowboy fans, and I think we've talked about it. So when you're looking at Rodriguez, or you're looking at Trotter, or maybe someone else, you guys in the chat, who's a linebacker that you guys are eyeing, Jeff? I mean, what would you be happy with? Because we definitely need some linebackers. And do you think the Cowboys might still be looking at a linebacker to sign? We talked about Wagner last week.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna still say Wagner. I think if we're going to get a rookie linebacker, you're going to need a veteran presence. So if it's not Wagner, it's got to be someone who's been in the league for a couple of years, who has a level of leadership, has a level of respect throughout the league, so that he can help develop and grow these younger players. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around Anthony Hill from Texas.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, a lot of Texas guys like him.
And so, and I'm, just looking at mock drafts throughout the week, I'm like, he'll be there, but is that the right spot for him? Like, I think you could drop back and get him from teams' needs. But from what I saw on the field, he's a player. I just don't know. I don't know what the Cowboys are thinking right there. I just think you have to have a veteran presence in linebacker. So I think we don't have to get that from free agency, or we could do some level of trade. I just don't know with who or for what we were looking for. And then we're going to have to kind of bring some young talent in as well. So for me, I'm looking for one linebacker in the draft, one more from free agency.
Yeah, and I think I know Ultra says Wagner can't cover. And look, Wagner's near the end of the line. I think we all
absolutely.
Do. But they've got to bring in a veteran, in my opinion. There's got to be someone that can bring, what you're getting with someone like a Wagner is not, maybe it's not as much on the field, but it's off the field. It's in the locker room. It's in practice. It's mentoring, because the Cowboys are probably more than likely drafting 1 to 2, I think 2, could be even 2 to 3 linebackers in this draft. Every mock draft that we've done has always been a multiple linebackers. So I think I'd like to see them bring in someone of a veteran presence just to give a sense. Kendricks was a guy, we liked a couple years ago. Someone in here to kind of give some stability. If all goes wrong, you can bring Wagner in. He may not be all pro level, but he still had over 100 tackles. He's still around the football. He's still disciplined and does what he needs to do. That's what I think we're talking about with Bobby Wagner. But Greg, is there a linebacker that's kind of piqued your interest that you'd be looking at from the college level?
No, the only linebacker that piques my interest, and he won't be on the board past 3, would be Arvell Reese, and he won't even be there. But like I said last week, the Cowboys are looking at linebackers far deeper than what we're even looking at. All of us are looking at surface. And all the surface that we're looking at right now are folks that we see in the media and folks that we know of, we've seen play the game. The Cowboys have gone deeper than that. I guarantee you, the linebackers that they go and get is going to be dogs. Even if they have to move down and get somebody in the second round, they're going to get dogs at linebackers because these guys are going to be hungry. So I'm not concerned about whether we're going to get some quality linebackers. I know we're going to get a quality linebacker in the draft. If we get Wagner, he could be a good third down linebacker, or he could come in and back up the linebackers that we pick up. So I wouldn't be against getting Wagner real cheap, 1-year deal, bringing in for the experience. And he's got enough to bring enough dog out of him for 1 year to help us out enough and keep offenses still thinking about him. But Dallas is going to draft some dog linebackers. I'm not concerned about that. I know we'll be fine when it comes to that. I don't care how far down they go, because I look at every year in the draft, and I really pay attention. The first round, to me, is almost like a show, except for those few handful of people that I knew, ooh, dog, these guys are dog. The rest of them, to me, is a show. I really look at the top part of the second round, third round for sure. I think
third round's where.
Third round for sure. And then when you get around the sixth round, somebody who's extremely hungry. But by the third round, third, fourth round, Cowboys will have some linebackers, and I just don't feel that we're going to have a problem with getting what we need and molding them the way we want them.
Yeah. And I would caution people. I know Ultra said these guys had dinners with the Cowboys. Just because they've had this visit doesn't mean you're going to get. But the Cowboys are drafted. There was quite a few guys that got drafted over the past few years that. I forgot which one it was recently. It's like, I didn't even know the Cowboys were going to draft. Like, I never even talked to them. So a lot of this is smoke screen. A lot of this is just kind of, gamesmanship that they're doing. And some of it, they're interested in, and maybe they're just kicking the tires on some of them, just kind of see what they're about. But, just because these guys are doing that visit doesn't mean, all right, these are all the draft picks we're going to get. I mean, there's always going to be guys that kind of go under the radar and that are quiet. But I do think, looking at what the Cowboys have done in the offseason, obviously defensive line we talked about, like to get a pass rusher, like to get a cornerback. I know they signed a couple cornerbacks free agent, which is fine, but I think they need a premier. I think they need a premier cornerback. So, I mean, am I wrong to think edge rusher, cornerback, Jeff? I mean, is that got to be, and I'm just saying, if you stay at 12 and 20, is it got to be edge rusher, cornerback? Is that kind of where your head's got to be? Or
for me, it's linebacker, cornerback. It doesn't necessarily have to be edge. It could be inside, but I'm looking linebacker, cornerback.
Okay.
Those are the areas.
I mean, a pass rusher. Because I know Sonny Styles is a linebacker, but he's going to rush the pass.
I don't necessarily, if we're going to play 3-4, we're going to, we still need two middle linebackers, right? So you need the thumpers.
Yeah.
Right. So either way, I don't care if it's a edge rusher or an inside linebacker, but linebacker, corner. For me, that's paramount to our success or non-success in the draft.
And if the Cowboys use the both of those and they don't execute the risky situation that I was talking about, there are more edge rushers in the first round that everybody's talking about than there are linebackers in the first round. Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me a bit if we go with an edge first with that 12th pick, because they're more available, and a couple of these may get skipped over, especially the guy from Auburn. He may get skipped over and fall to 12. And there's several more, and I got at least 4 of them on my board. But that, and then after that, if there's a linebacker that they have on their sheet that none of us are talking about, that they scouted because they know that, okay, this linebacker could definitely help us, I can see them getting him in the second round, because I don't see any other linebackers headlining that the Cowboys would get in the first round, other than, and if Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles are gone, that they would pull up and put in the first round that most people would think would go in the second or third round. I don't see that, because that 20th pick, they might even use that on the cornerback. So if they go edge first, happy. They go cornerback second, happy. If that cornerback happen to be Mansour or Keontae Scott, I'm happy. The edge, there's about 4 of them. So if they get one of those, I'm happy. But what they do, we won't know until that 12th pick comes and who's available.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You see all these mock drafts. I mean, it is, you don't know. Like, some people say, well, there's no way Bain and Bailey's going to be there, Styles or whatever. You just don't know, because, funky things happen in the draft. Now, let me throw this out there to you. It's kind of off Cowboys subject, but, my man Orlovsky, he sometimes makes me laugh. And I watched this video with him and who's my guy from ESPN? Good show. Help me.
Greenberg?
No, the funny guy, the punter. Help me. The ESPN.
Yeah. I know who you're talking
about. McAfee.
Yeah.
So he was on McAfee's show, and he's talking about Simpson, and he's saying that he is better than Mendoza because Mendoza didn't play any big games. And McAfee almost lost his shit. He's like, he won the Big Ten. He went through the playoffs. He won all those games. And then he said, well, he only scored going to the fourth quarter. They were losing Ohio State. They only had like 6 or, whatever points. And I'm thinking to myself, well, Ohio State had like 4 guys that are going to be first round picks probably, or right up in there on defense. 2 of them probably in the top 8. And I just like some of these guys. And that's where I think, Jeff, you were talking about the quarterbacks are the ones where all it takes is a team to fall in love with a specific guy. And you can end up with your quarterback that we laughed at, Florida State. That was probably my favorite one, who the Vikings drafted. Who was that?
One? Christian Ponder. I could have told him not to take him.
It's Marcus Russell.
Jamarcus. I mean, how crazy, let's talk about the quarterback. Do you think there's that close of a gap between Mendoza and the Alabama
Simpson
quarterback?
I don't know. Like, I can't, and Chase McDaniel said this, and I don't necessarily care for Chase McDaniel, but he said that Simpson's a better natural thrower of the ball. Yeah. Right. They said from waist down and from his feet up, they said he is more of a natural thrower. But I've only seen him play at 15 games at the collegiate level. And I think I already know how that's going to transfer to the NFL. I can't. So, but I'm telling you, I think the Jets at 16 come up and say, hey, we're going to take him. He's going to be our franchise quarterback. And I heard a lot of people say, hey, if he was 6'4", he'd be right up there with Mendoza. And said he's 6'1". This is where our teams will reach. If they have a need, and Lord knows the Jets have a need, that's where teams will reach. It's with quarterback.
100%.
I'm not saying he'll be great. I'm not saying he won't be great. I'm not. If I'm a GM, I'm not betting my job on it.
No, and and the thing is, when I watch Orlovsky and all those guys talk, And when they come up with segments and I'm like that, I'm like, okay, your executives told you guys are getting boring. So you need to come up with something strange and almost irrelevant to get people watching and saying, what the hell is he talking about? Something that's out of the box. And that's what they do for entertainment. But listen, with quarterbacks, one thing about Alabama, when we moved to Alabama when I was real young, and I wanted to get the hell up out of Alabama. One thing, everybody was all Alabama Roll Tide, all Alabama Roll Tide. One thing I noticed about Alabama, up until Jalen Hurts and you can debate Mac Jones, up until they came out, Alabama hadn't had a good quarterback in the NFL since Stabler and
Joe Namath.
And Joe Namath. And because the Alabama system always had quarterbacks that were good managers. They weren't game changers, but everybody was drafting those Alabama quarterbacks because they thought that they were going to be able to have the same type of system in their team that Alabama had, when the reason why you drafted these guys high is because your team sucked and you needed a whole bunch of holes to fill and you didn't have anybody to run that system. And that's why Ty Simpson is a product of that same type of scenario. Now, I'm not saying Ty Simpson won't get there and he won't turn out to be maybe a Jalen Hurts, who is more like a game manager that people look at, but he's successful. Mac Jones was successful early. Then they wrote him off. Now Mac Jones looks like he has a second life at a young age, so he might be a decent quarterback. But Ty Simpson has yet to prove himself. He has more mobility than Mendoza, no doubt about that. He has more mobility than Mendoza. I just wonder if he in the NFL, because he gets drafted high with the Jets or somebody like that. I just wonder if he's going to use that mobility more often than being in the pocket passing, because the Jets won't surround him, or whoever gets him won't surround him with the talent he needs to allow him to be a quarterback. And because of that, ruin him, just like other quarterbacks came out, everybody talked about with the same thing. Oh, he's got this, he's got that. And then they get on this sorry team, nobody can protect him, and they turn into trash. Mendoza has the fortunacy of being on a team that just happened to have as a minority owner Brady. And you better believe Brady's going to have a huge voice, huge mentorship with the ownership about what they need to do to protect Mendoza and allow Mendoza to succeed on a team that's trash, when he knows what it took for him to succeed and what Belichick and them and the owners built around Brady. If Brady wasn't there, I'd say Mendoza is headed for disaster. But because of Brady, I think Mendoza has an opportunity to succeed there if they really listen to Brady. And when they go to draft people, they draft people to protect their young man. Ty, I don't know where he's going, but if he goes high, he's going to a disaster zone, and he will not have the support around him to succeed. And everything Orlovsky said about him, or I mean, McAfee said about him, will be a disaster, because he didn't take into account the team that he's going to and the protection he won't have and the weapons he won't have as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of time with quarterback, I think the biggest thing, he only had like 15 starts. So I think that's the thing. He probably would have benefited from going back to Alabama another year. Mendoza has a lot of college games under his belt, and it's all about what Simpson is going to the right team. I think Ultra might have talked about it, and it's like, where do you end up? Because now these quarterbacks, there's no sitting, let them sit. They don't want to do that, especially if you're taking the first round. Now, if he goes into the second, third round, whatever, if it were to fall, then you have a little bit of flexibility. But when you're taking a quarterback in the first round, they're expected to play. At some point that year, they're going to get thrown in because they're probably getting on a bad team. And I think that's where he has trouble. I just kind of took offense to Orlovsky's sitting there saying that Mendoza hasn't played in big games. And I'm like,
that's crazy.
Beat Ohio State, right? He beat Ohio State. I mean, I hate to say it, he beat Miami.
But the Raiders, the Raiders are doing exactly what they should do, right? Yeah. That's why they got Linderbaum from Baltimore, signed a guard, Spencer Buford or something like that from San Francisco, because they know they're picking a quarterback. They know they need to protect him so that he can go through his progressions and become the pocket quarterback they want him to be.
Yeah.
If the Jets take Simpson and they surround him with a garbage offensive line, he'll be in and out of the league faster than you can blink your eyes.
Yeah. That's where you see those guys fail in the first round. It's not like they're great talents.
And like you guys said, if they draft them in the first round, they're in such a rush to bring them in. they probably will sit until the bye week. And then you'll say, oh, well, team is trash. We might as well go ahead and put them out there and, so they can learn on the job. Okay. I just don't like it.
I think if Simpson falls and the Cardinals are available, I think the Cardinals will take him regardless. If he falls and the Cardinals and the Cardinals have that pick for a quarterback, I mean, they need a quarterback. I think they'll take him. But if they do take him, they better be ready to protect him, because if not, Simpson's career.
The best scenario for the Cowboys is like to get a desperate team that wants to trade up to 20 to get him, almost like they did Brady Quinn a few years ago. And the Browns gave up a first round, gave up next year's first round, and they ended up getting some draft picks, get a second or whatever else. They ended up getting a nice little ransom because quarterbacks draw, that whole card thing, that the value card, that goes away when it comes to quarterbacks. So if someone wants a quarterback, they always overpay trading for one. So it's interesting, but it's draft time. It's the free agency's kind of ran its course, and you're looking at kind of what's out there. So I would just say this for Cowboy fans, it's a lot of good debate. You don't know what's going to happen. The draft will be next month. It'll all work itself out. I think for the Cowboys, what I'd like, and I just get your kind of, put a bow on this, is that I still think there's needs, and you want to use free agency to where you can go into the draft, clear mind. All right, we're not going to reach. We're not going to stretch. And I still think the one area that I've just got some concerns with, I think they could reach a little bit, is linebacker, because I just don't. You got Overshown, who's been hurt, a couple of those years. You got what's his name? God damn, my memory is getting so bad. The long hair, curly hair.
Maurice.
Leofau. You got Leofau. I mean, that's it. I mean, right? I mean, there's really not much. I mean, obviously, you're going to use Azaraku as kind of your stand-up guy. So, I think your edges, you're okay, but they have nothing in that middle linebacker to really, to be the head knocker. You just don't have, there's nothing on this roster. You got, what's his name? Shamir James. They said, oh, well, maybe he could step up. And I mean, I don't know if you're going to put a lot of, your future into that. So I don't know, man. It's just linebacker is just, I wish they would have landed one of those guys.
Just one.
Yeah,
I agree.
You know what, Mike? But here's the thing. Keep this on the board now, because this is one of my thoughts. If none of those players are available that they want at 20, and somebody wants to move up and to give them a couple of picks in the second round, not too far deep in the second round, but second round, mid-tier above, Cowboys could use those picks and get linebackers in the second round. And you get they get a couple linebackers in the second round, they get meat and potatoes.
Okay, no, I mean, if you can trade around, I get it. Yep. Yeah.
Hypothetical question. Hill is available at 12.
Who?
Hill, Anthony Hill.
At 12?
Linebacker?
At 12, yeah, linebacker from Texas.
No.
I don't even have, let me see. Do I have Anthony Hill on mine?
No.
So 20 yes, 12 no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have.
I would rather take a tackle, because one of those tackles would be there. I'd rather take a tackle.
We need another tackle?
I'm just, Guyton and Steele, you don't know what you're going to, I'm just saying, but you're reaching for some of those guys. I don't want to reach. Like, that's what I'm saying, is that they reach, it's Taco, it's Mozzie, it's they didn't want to draft Moss back in the day. That wasn't really a reach, but they ended up getting Greg Ellis, who is a fine player for us. But I want them to take the best player available that's on their board.
I got no issue. I would prefer to get him at 20. I prefer for him at 20. I just want to know your guys' thoughts.
I wouldn't take Hill at 20. It is a reach. I mean, if I'm gonna take Hill at 20, why not go get Cavante? I would do this. I would take that 20th pick if somebody wants to move up for it and give me give me a couple of second round picks. I would definitely take that, because I'm going to find me some linebackers in that second round.
What about Hill or Allen?
I like that question. And I have it. I was out in Allen's camp until probably the past week.
What took you out of it? The pro day?
Nothing's taking me out of it. I've just started paying attention to some film and seeing Hill seems like he's a dynamic player.
Yeah, I'll take Allen.
So that's why I'm not saying I wouldn't take Allen at 20 over Hill, but Hill has definitely made me not think it's a no-brainer. It's not a no-brainer anymore. I think the team really needs to do.
I mean, Hill's big. He's a big dude.
I would take Allen because I got Allen on my board among like 6 players at 6 if others aren't available, but these players are available. I got them on board, and I got Allen. CJ Allen is the linebacker at 12 if he's available. So yeah, I would definitely take CJ Allen.
Would you take if Hill and Allen are there at 20 and Mesidor is there at 20? So you have an edge rusher, and you took a cornerback with 12. Let's just say we got lucky in Delane. He was there at 12. So now, would you take one of those 2 linebackers, or would you take the one of the better edge rushers if he's there at 20? Which I don't know if he'll be there, but I'm just hypothetical, just for shits and giggles.
Linebackers.
You're going linebacker over the edge?
I told you, for me, I'm being consistent. Linebackers and corner are, for me, our 2 biggest needs. So I'm going to stand by that.
And me, based on what I got on here at 12, if the only linebacker I see that would be available that I would want if he's there is CJ Allen. If you said at 20, at 20, if Cassius Howell is available, Keem Mesidor is available, or Kedrick Falk available, if one of those are available at edge at 20, I would take them.
Yeah. I'm taking the edge. I just think linebackers, I've seen so many times where linebackers in the 3rd round, and I know you're saying, well, you're hoping there, but I think linebacker is deeper in the draft, and I just think if you got to get to the quarterback, and I'm looking at Ezra Rocker, who I think we felt pretty good with, building up, but he doesn't have, you still got a lot of ifs, and we all agree Overshown is going to be used kind of. In the 3-4 is going to be your outside guy. You're not going to have him inside, right? We all,
yeah.
So
put him on the
you
weak
got
side.
Overshown. Then you got Overshown there, who you're kind of unsure of. Now, if the Cowboys went and got Clowney, like if they went and got brought him back, Jeff, I'd probably might start leaning a little your way and say, you know what, let's fix the inside of this line. Priority number 1, but I still don't think our pass rush is all is where it needs to be either right now.
No, but I think you'll find more specialists that can go find the quarterback than you can for people who are going to be those thumpers who are going to consistently be in the right hole, the right gap, and be able to play assignment football like we need them to.
And on Jeff's behalf, if it's a cornerback, it's Mansour if he's available. Or I say Cavante Scott. And it wouldn't surprise me if you move him up to 1st round. I've seen other people go up 1st round when they say he shouldn't even been there. I said if it's a cornerback.
Not at 12.
Not at 12. I mean, I can name you like 3 cornerbacks.
You're talking about 20, right? You're talking about 20, right?
Okay. Oh, okay. So
20, I would still try.
At 20.
I try and trade down.
At 20.
Oh, yeah. Mansour won't be there at 20.
No, but I'm saying if he was.
Oh, no brainer. No brainer.
Like it's not happening. That'll never happen.
We'll never know. But linebackers, I do think linebackers are going to be thick in the 2nd round. We got a 2nd round pick.
We don't have a 2nd round pick.
We don't have a 2nd round pick.
3rd round pick.
Well, it'll still be linebackers available in 3rd round. You get meat in 3rd round too. I mean, there's hungry people all the way down there. You're going to get meat in the 3rd round. But
we love Greg.
But CJ Allen, if he's available at 12.
I like CJ Allen. I like him because
he's one of the edges. Get one of the edges.
I think we do. I think 864 talked about it. I think sometimes Cowboy fans, they're usually, and hey, I'm guilty of it. So you can make fun of me too on my side. We fall in love with our college team, and there's a lot of Texas Cowboys ties. And I think a lot of times we always get these Texas guys that we got to go get and we got to go grab, and they're overinflated in our eyes. And I could be the same with Miami, so I understand it. But I know Ultra's a big Texas guy. I know there's a lot of other people in this chat that are big Texas guys. I know Cuts is a big Texas guy. So there is more of a bias towards them. I'm more biased towards Miami. I get it. I own it. I'm not going to sit there and deny it. But so I don't know. I got to take the emotions out of linebacker. CJ Allen seems to me to be the cream of the crop of the inside guys, not the outside guys, the inside guys. But that's just me.
I'm just saying, I was with you till last week, in the past week, I've just been able to see a little bit more film at Anthony Hill, and
I
I'm
respect
like,
that. I respect that.
He brings some stuff to the table.
Yeah. No, I respect that. Thomas agrees with me, so at least I got someone that Ultra agrees with you.
Ultra agrees with me, so
he says you're smart man. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know how to take
and
it.
none of it's gonna make any damn sense.
It sure won't. Not a bit of sense.
Ultra wants
Not a bit.
Greg to be the GM of the Browns, hopefully. And I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, the Miami right tackle. See, Ultra, he's non-biased. He loves the Miami. I love him too. But
somebody, we're definitely gonna have to get somebody at a linebacker who can play a position versatile like Overshown, because I love Overshown, but listen, after 2 major injuries, year apart, even if Overshown plays all 17 games and Overshown lights out and plays top of the line, it's going to be hard for Jerry and them to sign him on any other contract that's not a little above minimum, because they don't want to take that risk long term. And I just got a feeling after this year, even if he plays lights out, Overshown will probably no longer be with us.
That's good. It's going to be tough for him to do. It'll be tough for him to do, because you don't want Jalen Smith, you don't want Sean Lee, you don't want that situation again. Van Der Esch, I will worry about that. But I do think Overshown is going to play. He's in a contract, last year, so he'll probably.
I just hope he plays lights out this year.
Just real quick, just want to give a shout out. We did surpass, since our last show, which was only a week ago, 6,000 subscribers. So we're almost to 6,200. So we are growing and growing, and it's really a testament to you guys. We love doing these shows. Like I said, I love doing the live shows. We do our mock drafts, we do some pre-recorded stuff, but I like talking to people. That's why you see me on Twitter. I don't really post a lot on Twitter that much unless it's Cowboy season, because I'm just not as quick-witted as Kelly or some of these other people that just kind of can put a lot of stuff out there to grab people's attention. That's never been my strength. So I love talking. I like talking. That's what I like to do. So we love doing this. And obviously with Greg and Jeff, it's turned into a really fun Sunday. And you guys, we always get, I'm looking at the numbers now. We had over 1,000 people coming into the cave this morning. So it's always good to do that. So make sure, if you're still unsure, hit the like button. It's down below. Thumbs up. Don't hit the thumbs down unless you don't like Jeff or Greg. If you like, don't hold me accountable for my guest and my partners in crime. So hit that thumbs up. But if you're not a subscriber, all kidding aside, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe. And
let me ask you something, Mike, because there's a couple of names that I don't hear anybody ever talking about. I got them on my board, but I don't hear anybody ever talking about. And one of them is Spencer Farrell. The other one is where is he at? Vega Lone. I said Cassius Howell, Cotton Hood, and Emmanuel McNeil and Caden Proctor. Why aren't they being talked about?
Well, I think you're talking about some people. I'll be straight with you. I didn't know who the hell some of those people were.
Yeah.
The Caden Proctor, but he's later. Like I focus on like the first 3 rounds. If I got to get into the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, I got to go to Tuck. I got to go to maybe Ultra. I'm going to talk to him a little bit because I know Ultra has all that stuff. So I'll be honest. I'm not. And I've told
these guys,
I'm no expert when
I brought these guys up. I brought these guys up because some of these mock drafts these folks are putting out there, all of these guys are in their top 20.
Top 20 what?
Draft on which team they may be going to. Caden Proctor, I saw somebody, and I brought him up because I think somebody in the chat even brought him up too.
Proctor, but that's often that offensive tackle. It's going to come down to there's probably 5 offensive tackles that potentially could go in the first round. I think it all depends on who's available and what each team likes.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I know Proctor from Alabama, but I didn't even looked at offensive linemen.
No, and I just brought him up because they're in the top. Emmanuel McNeil is a safety. Cassius Howell is an edge. Let me see that. The other one's Farrell was an offensive tackle.
And Colton Hood is the cornerback, but Hood.
Yeah.
He's a cornerback, right? Yeah, so for me, I don't think he may sneak into the first round. I don't know if he makes it in the first round, but if he does, I think he'll be in the back end of the first half.
And that's what I'm saying. There's players every year that get picked up in the first round that nobody out here in fandom is saying, how did that happen? Because these guys, they study these folks. They got their boards for all linebackers, all cornerbacks, all safeties, everything. They see them. They pro days, this, and that. And there's going to be people that are going to be picked up in that first round that nobody's thinking about. And you saying, I got him for a third round pick, or I got him for a late second. And I just, you don't know when it comes to 20 what the Cowboys will do with 20 if they don't trade down with that 20th pick, that they might not pull somebody up that none of us are talking about.
No, absolutely. And I think it was talked about in the chat too, is, Shoddy is the best player available. I mean, you kind of saw it right with Booker, and we all wanted a receiver. And I think everyone in Cowboy land, now we didn't know we were going to get Pickens later. Maybe they did. But all in Cowboy, we wanted playmakers, right? We talked about we need playmakers on this team. We need playmakers somewhere. And they go get a guard. Now, guard's not a playmaker, but it turned out to be, they knew what the hell they were talking about, because he's turning out to be one of the best guards, probably going to be in the NFL by the time he's in his third year. He's already there. So that's what I'm saying is you're always going to get something that may surprise you, or you got to put trust in the process that they know what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. So what do I know? I'm just saying, like, the players that I look at, I'm an SEC guy. I'm a Southeast United States kind of guy. So I don't know shit about some of these schools out west, and I sure the hell don't know much about small school guys to sit there and give an educated opinion on saying this guy's going to be great or not. So I don't know. What do you say, Jim?
Hey, I got a day job. Very taxing day job. So I may be able to guide us through the first round, second round, maybe even to the third round. But outside of that, I need a lot more time, and which I don't have. So
yeah. And we look at, like, my focus has been on linebacker. It's been on D end. It's been on cornerback. And I think a lot of us are thinking that. But that's what I love, all these mock drafts. And I love looking at PFF, and I love looking at what ESPN, like you said, Greg, you got guys that, there's going to be teams that need alignment. So what's that going to do? Who goes up? Someone's got to fall. That's so right. You could end up getting, we didn't even talk about Downs. Downs could be there at 12. Now he
could be, yes, sir.
Safeties, but I'm going to tell you what: if Downs is there at 12, I'll
take
run
him
the card up there. You go get him.
If we don't take him and he's available at 12, so out, man. And I'm throwing this whole room going to get thrown apart.
Yeah, and for safety, we need him, and this is why I bring those names up, because there's only 11 picks before us, and with those 11 picks, I guarantee you, one or two teams in there is going to say, pick a wow, they did what?
Yep. And
if they do the what, that person falls. And if that another one falls and the other one scrambles in there 2 or 3 minutes to say, wait a minute, we were going to get this, but now they did this, let's get this. And then the one that they were going to pick falls because the next team does it, then we may get one of those jewels.
And that's what I'm hoping for, to be honest.
And that's
what I'm hoping for.
And like Ultra talked about with Bain, like, there's people that actually think his arm length being like an inch or two, shorter than what they want. I watched film. I didn't see those arms become a problem in anything. I didn't see him not kill a quarterback. I didn't see him stop the run. So you do get to points of a lot of people in the chat and these experts, they overthink it. And then if Bain falls to 12, I'm running the card up from Tampa, Florida to Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't be stupid. Like that's where I think we talked about with don't let pro days and stuff overtake what you saw on the field, but use pro day as an opportunity to say, you know what? I need to go look at more film of this guy. Like,
So, and here's my question with Bain, right?
It's a balance.
I'm not worried about his arm length, right? But if we're going to play predominantly in a 3-4, is he a 3-4 end? Can he play that?
But
right? And I'm not. I have not done enough research into him.
He was stand up, like he was a stand up pass rusher. Like a lot of times he had his hands down too. It's a great point, and it's a great question. I think he can, because I think he's got the edge and he's got the speed and he's, he's disciplined. So I think he can do it. But I'm not, I don't study film 24/7 to give you guys.
I think as good as a question it is, I think it'll be irrelevant because Parker has already said that he is going to adjust as he needs in the 3-4, 4-3. Based on the players that he has and the talent. And if he has to, and I think Bain can do it, I don't have a doubt he can't, but I think because of Parker's coaching style and what he's already thrown out front, what he's going to do, he said, yeah, he likes 3-4. He said, but I'm not stuck 100% on it. I'm going to adjust as we need based on the players' talent and the situation. So whether Bain is 3-4, 4-3, I think is irrelevant. Parker's going to make sure that he gets the best out of the players and put them in a situation that he knows they can succeed. So I don't have a problem with that. But I brought those 5 players up because if 2 of those 5 players, even if just 2 of those 5 players is picked above 12, 2 of those other players are going to be available. That's everybody's talking about, and it creates a domino effect. If 2 of these 5 players are brought up there, everybody say, well, I haven't heard about them, but everybody's putting in their top 20. If 2 of those players are picked above 12, that means everybody else on the board, the person that they had to pick, and they had second because they didn't think they were going to be there, it's going to create a domino effect. And now they're going to say, oh, they didn't get him, so let's get him. Let's move from this one. And it's going to be a domino effect, domino effect, domino effect, and boom, Dallas gets a prize.
Yeah. It takes 6 offensive linemen, or not offensive, 6 offensive players get taken, in the first 11. The Cowboys are going to have a badass defensive option.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely. I mean, to your point, tackles get, a premium. So you may see, not one, but you'll see one, but maybe you end up seeing 2 tackles. Maybe you could see 3. You could, that there's those tight ends. There could be a team that, hey, the Oregon tight end, you could get obviously Tate, you get Mendoza's a surefire. They're already giving him playbooks and all that. So, he's already going one. So so you really need 5. You need 5 more, and you can easily find them. Jeremiah Love, a lot of people are tying him to Tennessee. So, there's another offensive guy gone. So, all it takes is a couple, in there, and you're going to end up with a premium defensive player at 12. And then at 20, that's where I think it gives them some flexibility to trade down, try and get second round pick, getting late first, you can get back into that second, or, take a badass linebacker that, you feel good about.
All right, here's my question then. I like this one. He said he's okay with Mesidor at 12. I'm not. And he said he won't be. So if Mesidor,
so that was just someone said I wouldn't take Mesidor at 12 in the chat, but go ahead.
Right. If he's, because I think he'll be, Mesidor will definitely be there at 12.
Oh, 100%.
But right, but I'm not taking him at 12.
I would.
No, I think he can go 15 to the Bucks. The Bucks are talking about him a lot down here.
But teams like the Chiefs and other teams above us, they need running backs. Some of them need offensive.
Chiefs don't need running back now.
Yeah, because they got to protect these. If somebody gets Ty Simpson, these people got to protect these quarterbacks and stuff. So I really feel that at 12 we're gonna get a premium pick because the domino effect is going to occur.
Yeah, and I think Jeff, I think you were asking. I apologize. I think it might have changed. It shifted gears on you by mistake. But I think you're asking is, if you like a guy, would you take him? Right? Is that maybe what you're saying? Like if Mesidor loves somebody. Sure. And he's not going to be there at 12, 20, and let's say they love him on tape, and I would take him. And to hell with the criticism, because you got that with Booker, you got it with Frederick, you got it with even Zach Martin. People bitched about the Cowboys getting Zach Martin. That worked out pretty well for him. I think if you like
Frederick
a guy,
was the key one, right? Frederick to me was the key one for Dallas because everyone was like, "Oh, that's a reach. That's a
third round,
please." Yeah. Revisionist history, that was a hell of a reach because that was a solid pick that no one saw coming.
And it happens every draft.
Yeah.
Every draft. That's why the first round does not shock me when somebody drafts out the box, somebody expected to be in the second or third round does not shock me because it happens every draft. And when those people do that, they start the domino effect. And at 12 is a great place to be to get a real good player among the ones that are all talked about right now in the first round. 20, I'm everywhere with 20. If they do the risky plan and make that thing happen with the Browns, I'm fine with that. If they don't, they trade down to get more picks in the second round. I'm fine with that. If they use 20 to get somebody, I'm good with that because they're gonna get a quality player either way to go. So those 2 picks, I don't see how they can mess those 2 picks up. I really don't. I don't.
And I don't think, I mean, KH, I don't know if anyone said this draft is so bad. I like the draft. I know maybe it's not like premium quarterbacks drive the draft usually. So yeah, you don't have those premium, stud quarterbacks and all that on there. So maybe it makes it look. I think this is a very deep, balanced draft in a lot of positions, and you will get a team. You will get a team that values a guy, and they say, you know what? I don't think he's going to be there at pick 30. Maybe I want to move up to 20 because a team 22 is going to get him. If they want to get their guy, they'll trade. I mean, trades happen in football all the time on draft day. So it doesn't necessarily mean if it's a great draft or great draft, it means there's going to be a bunch of trades or not. It's all about what these teams want. But definitely, hey, we're going an hour and a half. I told you I'm having a pool day today. I'm grilling out. I'm doing this, so it is getting almost that time. We gotta bail out of here. But had a great hour and a half with you guys, man. As always, love the engagement. I love the debate. Some people liked, Jeff, Greg, and I. We got into it a little bit early, and there's nothing wrong with it. We talking over each other.
Passionate Cowboy fans. That's what we're gonna do.
Passionate Cowboys fans. I love the debate. I love getting you guys on there. A couple things. We are going to do a live mock draft with you guys. So I already have some people reached out and said, hey, I want to be part of it. If you guys want to be part of it, all you got to do is DM, send me a message through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. It's at mtag1993 if you don't know already. Or you can email Mike at Cowboys Cave and say, hey, I want to be part of it. We're going to pick some people, and you guys are going to do the pick. You make fun of us all the time. You guys are going to do the picks. We can have you either live coming in, showing your face. We could call you, whatever you guys want to do, and then we'll run through it. And we're going to do a live mock draft, probably the week before the draft. So that'll give you guys an opportunity. So, yeah, definitely love the debate. And more importantly, hit that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe. We've had over, in and out, you guys bouncing in and out. Now I'm looking at over, 1,300 people in here. So it's a testament to you guys. We love the passion that you guys all bring.
I heard Greg yelling.
A lot of good debate.
I heard Greg yelling. So they had to figure out what was going on.
911. Got a passionate Cowboy fan over here. 911.
We love passionate Cowboy fans. But, yeah, all kidding aside, we love it. Definitely appreciate it. We will be, I don't know if I'm going to be live on Monday. I don't know. I'll debate. I got to figure it out if I'm going to do a show Monday or not. If not, we'll be back definitely on Wednesday. But definitely appreciate it. Jeff, you have a great Sunday. You got anything planned today? Or are you just chilling?
I'm just relaxing before we get back to the grind.
All right. And Greg, anything fun today, or are you just chilling?
Just chilling in the sunshine. I ain't got a grind to go to, so I'm just going to relax and enjoy it.
All right. Well, I told you I got big plans. It's pool weather now. It's pool weather in Florida. If you guys are somewhere where it's cold, I apologize, but it is definitely that way. But again, appreciate all the love. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your Sunday. I might see you Monday. If not, I'll do something, but definitely appreciate you guys. Take care. Jeff, Greg, be good. Appreciate it. See you.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.